you, you guys aren't going to believe this. I thought I had hit the live button. I was sitting here talking to myself for 5 minutes. Oh, I need help. Anyways, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Friday Night Prepper pre-party show. Let's do a reset here. We're going to be talking about I was wondering why the chat wasn't really responding to things that I was saying. We're going to be talking about Blade Show tonight. We're going to be talking about a couple other things as well. As usual, I'm going to go through the intro here kind of quick since I kind of already did it. As usual, be kind to each other, please, in the comments. Be kind to the moderators, especially. They give their time freely, and I see I've got several here tonight. They have permission to put you in timeout or boot you out, especially if you're being racist or sexist. That's kind of the two rules here that we really try to enforce. Other than that, have a good time. If you have questions at any point, drop them in caps. I'll try to catch them. And I have a question for everybody. Either if you're watching this live, you can put it in chat. If you're watching this on replay, put it in comments. Since I'm going to Blade Show in a couple of weeks, I want to know what knife manufacturers you guys really like. I'm going to hit as many as I can and try to catch some videos, do some interviews, things like that. So tell me what knife makers you like, and I'll do my best to get to as many of those tables as I can. Now, what you see behind me, actually, this is a picture from Blade Show. There's literally like thousands and thousands of people and hundreds and hundreds of tables. So I can't possibly, even in 3 days, and I'm going to be there all 3 days, I can't get to all of them, but I'm certainly going to hit as many as I can. And certainly there's some big ones that I plan to hit. And I'll name a few of those as well tonight. Let me go ahead and say hi to chat. Angie and Lee, I saw you guys popping in early. Thank you so much. Southern Tier Prepper, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. You are in my prayers, my friend. I hope you're doing okay. Virginia Bushcrafter, yeah, and I wasn't there Wednesday for the stream. I apologize. I had something going on. I was able to catch it on replay today during my lunch break. Virginia Bushcraft's good to see you. Michelle, good to see you, my friend. Said hi to Lee. Maccabee, it's good to see you, my friend. How you doing tonight? Let's see. Orlando Prepper, always good to see you. Lazarus Long, how you doing, my friend? Sassy Gal Prepping, you were in my prayers as well. I hope you and your family are doing okay tonight. Did I miss anybody? Let's see. 5x5, good deal. All right. LT Wright, we will definitely be stopping by LT Wright's booth. Yep, we will definitely be hitting them. Southern Tier Prepper, I'm going to be hitting some of the small ones. Actually, a couple. I'll name a couple right now. The Exodus Knife Company is a company that I really want to check out. Might pick up one of their knives. Definitely going to stop by Knives by Nuge. A couple weeks ago, I did a review of one of their knives. There's a couple other ones. SOGs, I'll try to hit SOG and CRKT. Yeah, I like CRKT knives too. I haven't done a review for one of their knives in a while. And if you've been liking the knife reviews, I'm going to try to get this one done this weekend. This is the Spyderco Smock. This is a really cool and interesting little knife. Got a kind of an unorthodox blade there. You can see it. I know I've got the green screen effect there going on, but this is a fun little knife, but pricey. You know, Spyderco knives, a lot of them can be kind of pricey. This one was over 200. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. You don't necessarily need a knife over 200 unless you're really into knives and you like to collect them, and there's certain ones that you like. But there's great knives in the $25 to $50 range. I've reviewed several of those on my channel. K-Bar Dozier is one. I did one a couple weeks ago for the Ontario Knife Company's Rat 2. It's a great knife under $50. Definitely check out both of those videos. But I will try to get that review done this weekend, and if I can, it'll be out on Tuesday. And happy Memorial Day weekend. You don't. I just caught myself. And let's talk about that for a second. You don't say Happy Memorial Day. It's a solemn holiday. Somehow it's gotten twisted over the years, right? That it's become like a barbecue holiday. But Memorial Day is actually where we're supposed to remember our fallen soldiers, right? So instead of saying Happy Memorial Day, I'm going to say may you have a good weekend and may your Memorial Day be solemn and reverent, all right? And get some time in with your family. I know my brother-in-law is actually going to be going to the cemeteries and cleaning up some of the stones and things like that, which I think is really awesome. What a great thing to do for Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you're doing something like that. I'd like to hear about it if you are. And if you've lost a family member through their service for the country, let's all remember your family this weekend and the sacrifices that your family made for this country. So Buck, yeah, I'll definitely try to catch the Buck booth. Gerber, great suggestions there. Yeah, so I've got my Holtzman on me. I don't know if they're going to be there. I need to check the list again. So this is my Holtzman Venture Point. All right. And this is, if you guys are looking for a Father's Day gift, this one here, I love this knife. This has been my EDC for all of 2024. This is like really fidget friendly. It's very drop shotty. You can do the spider flick. Discount code, of course, down below. I'm an affiliate for Holtzman Guerrilla Survival. I don't know if they're going to be there, though. I need to check the list again. I emailed Nathan a couple times, and I haven't heard back from him. So I hope so. I hope so. I'd really like to. If he's there, I'm definitely going to hit his table. So if you've ever been to a gun show or a knife show, you probably kind of know what to expect. The big difference here is that Blade Show, and specifically Blade Show Atlanta, because there's multiple Blade shows, but Blade Show Atlanta is the biggest one, I believe, in the world. It's definitely the biggest one in the country. I believe it's the biggest one in the world. And you can still get tickets, actually. You can get tickets the day of. So if you live in this area and you're thinking, you know what, it's the weekend of June, hang on one second, June 7th, 8th, 9th is when it's going on. So if you live in this area, in that area of Atlanta, and you want to drive down, you can get tickets day of, right? And hotel might be a little bit harder to come by at this point. You kind of need to book your hotel months in advance. I booked mine back in January or February, I think, and I wasn't even able to get into the hotel that's like right next to the Cobb Galleria. I'm a little bit of a short walk away. If you're watching this either in chat or on replay, oh, that's awesome, Michelle. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's a great. The Venture Point is a great little knife. I love mine. In fact, I switch my EDC up every year at the end of the year, and I'm really like, it's going to be hard for me to switch out of the Venture Point into something else, because it's honestly been probably the most like fidget friendly, fun knife to play around with. Like just when I'm sitting around the house, I just have fun just kind of flipping this thing around and playing with it. It's a blast and it cuts well. It's D2 steel. D2 is it's like a tool steel, so it holds an edge really well. It's got a really good hardness. The only knock against D2 steel is that sometimes when you do end up having to sharpen it, which shouldn't be that often, but when you do have to sharpen it, it's a little harder to sharpen because it's a tool steel. But once you sharpen it, it's going to hold that edge for a long time too. So I love it. It's a good knife. And if you catch it on sale, I've seen it under 65 for sure. I think I've seen it even lower than that when you catch the sale. So get on their mailing list. Holtzman Guerrilla Survival, again, their website's down there. Get on their mailing list. They have all kinds of cool stuff, not just knives. So you kind of know what to expect at these things. They're crowded. There's such a thing as con flu, which if you've ever been to one of these things, what happens is, you're doing so many shaking hands and everybody's touching the knives and putting them down and not washing their hands and stuff like that. So like, I'm already know I'm probably going to get sick. It's a thing. Like everybody in that room is going to be sick. I'll high dose on my vitamins and be as careful as I can and wash my hands a lot and that kind of stuff. And I'm probably going to get sick. So con flu is a thing. You need to, when you go to one of these things, you need to remember to hydrate and eat. It's easy in a room like this full of products that you like to lose track of time. And you could be wandering around talking to people for hours and forgetting to eat and forgetting to drink water. So if you want to stay healthy, you got to do both of those things. If you're going to be there, let me know, and if you are, if you want to meet up, if you see me there, I'll be wearing Prepping with Sarge shirts. So if you see me there, stop me. We'll talk. I'll give you a sticker if you stop me. And I love to meet people. If you are going to be there and staying there, and we already kind of have a relationship, like you've been a member of the channel, you've been a audience member for a while, or you DM me through Instagram or something like that, and you want to get together, just shoot me a message. You can DM me on Instagram. You can shoot me an email, businesswithsarge@gmail.com. I've already spoken to a couple of people I'm going to try to get together with, but I'll try to catch as many people as I can if you're going to be there. And definitely, if you see me, stop me. Let's talk. I'd love to meet you. Digit friendly. Yeah. So that's the other thing, Bacon, right? Is that, If you are somebody who likes to play with knives like me, I do cut myself, not intentionally. It's not like, like a mental health issue. I don't do it intentionally like some people do. I do it by accident because I like to play with knives. In fact, I did one. It's just about healed up now. I cut my thumb last week. Actually, it was on the Spyderco Smock. I was flipping it around and kind of didn't close it right, and I got a little cut on my finger. It's occupational hazard when that's something that you like to play with, right? You play with knives and fire, you're going to get cut and burned. Bacon, it's good to see you, my friend. How you doing tonight? Keep a Gerber in my backpack permanently. Oh, so the Gerber strong arm is another great knife, especially if you're looking for like a bushcraft knife under $100. Because a lot of times, like a really good fixed blade knife is going to cost you more than $100. But Gerber's got two actually that are under $100, and both are really solid. One is the Prodigy, and one is the strong arm. Great knives. I have both of those. So when you're at these things, I'm glad you brought that up. You are allowed to, if you're going to this convention, you are allowed to carry one knife EDC. So like one in your pocket or on your belt. And then you can carry more, but they want it in your backpack in like, a case, or at least in your sheath, obviously. They don't want more than, for those attending, they don't want more than one on you. Obviously, the dealers and the people working the booths are under different rules and that kind of stuff. They also do allow CCW. I was looking at the website, and if I read it correctly, they do allow CCW. They prefer that you not have it openly displayed. I'm ruled by my stomach. I never forget to eat. Good for you. I love that. Yeah, actually, that's one of my things this weekend is I got to scout out like what are the restaurants in that area that I can get my grub on while I'm there. I think there's a Chick-fil-A in Cobb Galleria, and I do love God's chicken. So there you go. You can't go wrong there. K-Bar Dozier and Ontario Rat 2, both of which are under $50, both of which are very solid, good knives. So Michelle, believe it or not, as much as I love knives, I'm not allowed to carry it at my workplace. So whenever I'm not at work, it's on my person. But when I'm in the building, I am not allowed to carry a knife. Their rules, not mine. I love my employer. I'm pretty happy, so I put up with that. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Bacon, how many you carry on you usually? All right, so let me go through some of these attendee rules and things like that for people who might be curious if you're thinking about going, or you're going, you just don't know what to prepare for. The Waverly is the hotel that's closest to it, is my understanding. You're not going to get a room at the Waverly right now. It's too late for that. You're going to have a hard time finding a room, I believe, within walking distance this late in the game. So if you're close enough that you're driving distance, no problem. You can still go. If you're somebody who's not really in driving distance, then maybe you need to think a little bit more about next year and kind of booking ahead a little bit more. You can buy your ticket the day of the show. Kids under 12 are encouraged to please be with a parent for obvious reasons. There is such a thing as an early bird ticket. I actually bought the early bird tickets, and what that means is that I can get into the show 1 hour early. I bought one for each. I have early bird tickets, early bird passes for the whole weekend, so I can get in 1 hour early. Now, for me, I don't know, maybe that wasn't even really necessary because I'm not buying any custom knives, at least this time. So what is a custom knife? The custom knives are usually, there's only a few of them that are made by each knife maker, and they can cost a lot of money, but they're beautiful. They're like a piece of art. You're going to be one of the only people in the world that has that knife. And so usually the early birds are people that are like trying to get to these tables and get those, and these tables are only going to bring like a few of those each. Right. So let's say that, I don't know, trying to think of a company that might do this. Let's say Medford has 5 custom knives, right? So there's going to be, when they open these doors to the VIPs are going to make a beeline for whatever vendor they're looking for their custom knives, and they're going to be gone before the general public gets in. So I probably could have got away with just buying a general admission ticket. I bought the VIP. It wasn't that much more. It was available when I bought it, so I'll get in an hour early. And usually they close out the show each day. They close out the show on Friday and Saturday at 6 p.m. and on Sunday it closes at 2. There are some classes and things like that. I looked at them. There's probably nothing in the classes that I'm going to attend. They're, they'll do like sharpening and things like that, talking about different blade steels. There's probably nothing in there that I'm gonna catch this time around. When you get there, if you ordered your tickets online, you're gonna have to go and get your wristbands. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out this weekend. Can you purchase knives at Blade Show? Yes, definitely. You can purchase knives at Blade Show, and generally speaking, cash is king. So if you're thinking like I'm going to buy a knife or two while I'm there, probably should bring cash. Some vendors probably will take a credit card, but I wouldn't guarantee that. Like if there's something you really have your heart set on, I would bring cash for that. I'll have some cash on me, but I also will, if I can use my card, I'm probably going to use my card because for me, anything I do is probably going to get reviewed for the channel. So I can use it as a kind of a business deduction if I do a channel review for it, things like that. So if I can use my card, that's better for me. But for the average person, if you're not like running it as content on your channel or something like that, and you can do cash, you're probably better off to do cash. Military discount. Yes, if you've got an ID, they can do a military discount. All right, here's this next one here is important. So I've been to a few gun shows, a few knife shows where you can do this thing that's called brown bagging, which is basically, even if you don't have a table, you can, some places will generally tolerate for you to be, if like you're selling or trading. I've seen people like hang a sign on their backpack of what they're selling or trading, and it's a person-to-person transaction. It's a no-go at Blade Show. You cannot do that. And not only can you not do that, snitching is actually encouraged. Whereas in the real life, in the real world, snitches get stitches. In Blade Show, brown bagging is so frowned upon that people are actually encouraged to report it. You will be removed from the show, and you can be permanently banned from future Blade shows. So you are not allowed, if you don't have a vendor table. Remember, these people paid for a table. If you don't have a vendor table, you cannot sell inside the expo. Okay. Now, if you go to a hotel room and people on your hotel floor are all at Blade Show and you guys are talking about, that's between you. They're asking you not to do that in Blade Show. Okay. Capiche? Let's say hi to chat again. See if I missed anything. Mac, what are you carrying? You say you got 4 knives. What do you got on you? Doing that remembers the 8th commandment, borrowing God's chicken. Man, Chick-fil-A is the bomb.com. I love me some Chick-fil-A. And I heard that there's one in Cobb's Galleria. I hope that's true because that will probably be my breakfast every day. How many knives do you carry? Yes. Yep, there you go. There you go. Battle Horse knives. Are they still? I don't know. Hey Jonesy, it's good to see you. I definitely will plan to also go by my friend Greg from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I'm sure they're gonna have a table. And hopefully Greg's working it. I know him from Georgia Bushcraft, so if he's there, I'll definitely be swinging on by to say hi to him. All right, so we talked about brown bagging. Tickets are non-refundable, so if something weird happens, like Atlanta gets tornadoes or something like that, I don't think there's anything they can do about that. If you choose not to attend, you can give your ticket to someone else. Go to their website to check out the details on that. I'm not going to get into that too much. Backpacks. Okay, so yes, you can bring in a backpack. And generally speaking, for things like this, please do not bring a giant oversized backpack. Look at this picture behind me. I mean, it's tight. People are going to be bumping into each other, shoulder to shoulder. There's going to be a lot of body contact. Don't be that guy that has the giant oversized Rush 72 511 backpack on you. People are going to hate you. Don't do that. Now, I will have a sling pack. It's very small and slim, and I can tuck it in close to my body. That's going to be because I'm going to be filming some stuff, so I need to have like a battery pack and my mics and different things like that with me. But, if you're going to bring a backpack, keep it small. Keep it small. Yes, it is allowed. You can't. So somebody in frequently asked questions. One of the questions is, can you ship knives directly home? There's a US UPS location in the Waverly Hotel in Cobb Galleria. So you would buy the knife and work it out with UPS, not through the dealer. All right. Exhibitors, if anyone here is watching and you're wanting to be an exhibitor, I don't know if there's any tables left. To be honest with you, I would be surprised. You would have to contact them through their website, and of course, it's just bladeshow.com. There is a wait list, so if there's no tables left, you could try to get on the wait list to see if somebody doesn't show. And again, on there, it actually encourages people. If you see somebody selling that doesn't have exhibitor space, they are encouraged to report it. All right, cool. What is the policy on counterfeiting? Oh, I never saw that one. All right, that's too long. You guys can read that. Yeah, there is the things such as knife counterfeiting. Unfortunately, sometimes those things end up on Amazon and eBay more so. I'd say definitely on eBay and gas stations and things like that. Where somebody will claim it's a Spyderco or a Benchmade or one of those pricier knives, but they're not. So that's not something you would likely see here. If they catch it, that person's going to be booted and they're not going to be welcome back, is my guess. So. Yeah, no duffel bags full of machetes and swords. I think that's probably frowned upon. Milwaukee Tanto, Milwaukee Hawkbill, Mountain Man, and a little Chinese knife for cleaning toenails and stuff. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, and so a lot of people. I will visit like CRKT. I think a lot of their knives are made in China. A lot of people, you guys are always on me like, show more American knives, show more American knives, and I do. I try to showcase American knives. But there's a lot of great companies out there that are making knives in China. It doesn't mean just because it's coming from China that it's a bad knife. It really depends on number one, the blade steel they're using, and number two, the heat treatment that they're using. So if you're not sure, go online and research the company's reputation. But CRKT knives are great. I've got one. I can't reach it right now because where I'm at. But it's like 8 feet away from me. That's shoot, that thing's probably like 15, 16 years old. It's worn and it's stiff. It needs some work. Still functions great. And that was was the CRKT M21 12G, I think it was. And that was my EDC for many, many years, actually. I loved that knife. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll take it out one day and clean it up for a video. We'll see if I can get it looking a little bit better. I've also got like one of those cheapo bubble pack knives from Walmart that I'm gonna do a video on that and see if like we can make it a little bit better. I'm talking about like those $5 knives that they sell at Walmart. And those are fine, honestly, for like cutting boxes and like most household tasks, cutting up fruit, things like that. They're gonna function fine for that. So unless you're using it, unless you're worried about like I'm going out hiking and I want a good knife for if I got lost in the woods or something like that, that's for most tasks that most people are doing. Those knives are fine, and you can sharpen them up and you can make them a little bit looser. So maybe we'll do a video with that one day down the road. Just take one of those knives and see what I can do to make it a little bit better. But that's it. So for like the frequently asked questions, what to expect at these things. Oh no, I forgot one more thing: hygiene. Right. So if you go to one of these conventions, please, for the love of God, take a shower, put some deodorant on, and brush your teeth. Right. Nobody wants to smell your stank. Look how close everybody is back there. Right. I don't care if you don't shower every day. I really don't. Like most of my friends are like bushcraft friends. They go out and spend a week in the woods. Right. So like I don't care. But in something like this, where everybody's like forced to be shoulder to shoulder with each other, please be respectful. Take a shower that morning. If you don't want to take a shower for the next month, that's fine. Do you. I don't care. Take a shower that morning, slap on a little deodorant, brush the teeth. Everybody will want to talk to you more. They'll want to shake your hand. They'll want to show you their knives, things like that. But if you're the guy that walks in smelling like Dorito breath and that you haven't taken a shower in a week and you don't put deodorant on because you're one of the people that thinks that deodorant is the scourge of the earth, right? Like, suck it up for a day and put the deodorant on. Just do it, please. We beg you. We beg you. Nobody wants your filth. Nobody wants your stink, right? And then as soon as it's over, go back to your stank. It's okay. I don't care. I really don't. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, Ozark Trail. That's right. That's the knife I was talking about. Yep, the bubble pack knives. Yep. We had one of my black belts say this. Oh man, so yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So martial arts is another thing. If you do martial arts, please shower, please wash your gi. I hated that. Like, people would show up to class and they hadn't washed their gi in a month. Like, those things soak up sweat. I had to tell one guy discreetly. I was discreet with him because he was a friend, right? I wasn't trying to embarrass him. I would never do that. I had to, like, hey buddy, it's time to wash the gi. And he's like, oh, is it bad? And I'm like, dude, it's really bad. Like, you could smell him 6 feet away. So yeah, if you're in martial arts, same thing. Like, wash that gi at least every other class, if not after every class. I would prefer that you wash it after every class, right? Because you're rolling on the floor with people, you're wrestling, you're doing choke holds, things like that. Just be respectful. The other thing is, if you're doing martial arts, trim your fingernails, guys. Nothing's worse than, like, somebody's got a jagged fingernail and you're doing a move with them. The next thing you know, you're bleeding and you got their fungus under in your cut. It's pretty nasty. Have some respect for your classmates if you're taking martial arts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta wash your what, right? Yeah, I believe that. Well, you know what, Virginia Bushcraft, we'll do a video on it. We'll play around with it and see what I can do with it. I've got one of those tumbler sharpeners, which those work really good. So if that doesn't get it sharpened, then probably nothing will. But that could be kind of a fun video. And I'm not trying to bang on Ozark Trail knives. Like, again, if you're just cutting Amazon boxes open with it and stuff like that, it's fine. I wouldn't personally take that out to the woods as my carry if I'm going for a big long hike and there's a chance that I could fall and get stuck out there or something like that. Sometimes you got to get specific. See, multi-tool. Yeah, again, it just depends on what you're using it for. Again, I think they have a purpose. I've got a couple, actually thinking about, like, where we keep a couple of our knives and stuff like that. I've got strategically placed around the house a couple really cheapo knives, and mostly I'm using them for, like, we get a package and I'm like, oh, where's the nearest knife? Cutting it open. But I don't take those knives out if I'm going out to do bushcraft stuff, if I'm going for a hike, or if I'm worried about, like, what if I can't get home and I need a knife, that kind of thing, right? Those are just specifically for cutting open packages. All right. Any other questions here? This one's probably gonna be a little bit shorter. I'm gonna wrap it up here in a second, and I got a positive message for y'all. I want to review my notes. Yeah, if you got any questions, throw them in now. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and start to lead into my closing thing here. Now, this is not really related to Blade Show or anything like that. But again, if you're just tuning in now, if you're going to Blade Show, you want to meet up, shoot me a message, either on Instagram or at businesswithsarge@gmail.com. If you see me there, go ahead and stop me and say, hey, Sarge, I'll give you a sticker. I'd love to chat, love to meet. Definitely looking forward to meeting some of the people. I know some of the Instagram bushcraft folks are going to be there. I've already talked to a couple of people, so looking forward to that. All right, so today I went to a training that was put on by a colleague with a PhD, and this was on the polyvagal theory for trauma, polyvagal theory for trauma treatment. And so you guys know I'm a trauma therapist. That's my main trade. And I was wanting to trade. I cannot find my words today. I was wanting to train in polyvagal theory for a while. Now, you don't have to know what that is. I'm not going to get too much into that tonight. But this person put on a phenomenal training. Like, really, really super impressed me. I learned so much more about the biology of the brain and the neurochemistry that's involved with trauma, how different parts of the brain get activated, and how even, like, different trauma symptoms can, like, so if you came to me for therapy and you said, I've got I'm getting flashbacks, or I can't sleep, or things like that. That which parts of the brain would have been involved. So this was like super in depth, and super impressed with the work that this lady did. And sometimes when if you've ever met somebody with a super high IQ, like I've known a couple people with an IQ of like 150 or more. Mine is not 150. um I'm smart, but I'm not that level smart. And if you ever will talk to somebody that's on that level, like, you can tell it's just like, it's just way up there, and they really can put their thoughts together well, and articulate really well. And this woman just did a phenomenal job. So one of the things that I was taking away from this was, um it's often thought about that brain damage is irreversible or irreparable, right? You will sometimes hear people say that. Now, there are those of us in the field who disagree with that, and I want to speak to that just a little bit here. So, when you are repeatedly exposed to trauma, or when you this is for you guys, when you're repeatedly exposed to trauma, or if you're exposed to a very big trauma, it can change your brain in a way. It can change your brain chemistry. And some people may try to tell you that that's permanent and debilitating. And for some people, maybe it can be. I'm here to tell you that I've worked with some people who have had some horrible trauma that have got their symptoms down to zero, right? Because we have this thing in our brain called neuroplasticity, right? So, what is neuroplasticity? If you've never heard that terminology before, it means that the brain can adapt and find new neural pathways, right? So, if you got struck physically in a part of the brain, and your language center part of the brain took some damage, maybe you develop a stutter or something like that, right? Or maybe you have a speech delay, where somebody asks you a question and you have a 30 seconds before you can get the words out, right? Just a couple examples. People might say, well, that's a permanent debilitating condition. But those of us who work in the field of mental health will tell you that neuroplasticity allows us to work around those issues, right? You can develop new ways. So if you've ever done like speech therapy, or you've known somebody who's done speech therapy, that's a great example of that, right? So they may learn how to speak differently, right? Maybe they sing while they speak, or they speak in a way that's kind of sing song, because singing is a different part of the brain than speech. Maybe some of you didn't know that. So, what's the takeaway here? Why am I using this as our message for tonight? So, maybe if you're watching this, and I'm not calling out anybody, or I'm not even thinking about anybody in specifically, maybe you've had some exposure to trauma in your life, and you feel like I'm always gonna feel this way. I'm always gonna feel depressed. I'm always gonna feel anxious. I'm always gonna have these horrible symptoms. I'm always gonna not be able to sleep well. Maybe you've done some substances in your life. You made some choices that have done some damage, right? Don't give up your hope. Don't give up your hope, because I'm here to tell you that I've seen people achieve what I would consider to be miracles. That neuroplasticity is a real thing, and that people who one day I would have met, and this person would have had a really, really hard time even getting like a really low entry level job. People would have maybe thought, wow, that guy's really like messed up or something like that. And then 6 months later, by putting in the work, by working through their therapy and developing coping skills and practicing the skills that you learn in therapy outside of there, these people have turned their life around, and you wouldn't know that it was the same person. They don't even physically, they look different. It even changes your physical appearance a little bit. If you work in mental health, you know what I'm talking about. So don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. If you've had any kind of injuries like that, or if you've got a loved one that's had any kind of injuries like that, or they've done some damage through substance abuse or stuff like that, right? Don't give up hope. Neuroplasticity means that there's always a chance that new neural pathways can build. People can learn new ways to do things. People can improve on their functioning in leaps and bounds in some cases, right? So there's hope never fails you. And as you guys know, I'm also a person of faith. So I'm going to touch on that just for a second here, that if you've ever heard the expression that people of faith heal faster, I'm going to tell you that's generally true. right? I can't say that's been true in every single circumstance, but it's generally true that faith can be a huge asset for somebody that's working on their mental health or it's working on their substance abuse recovery. It can be the thing that makes the biggest difference. It can be the thing that prevents somebody from self-harm. So if you've got that, that's great. If you don't have faith, then I would encourage you, not necessarily, I'm not trying to convert you to my way of thinking, but I would encourage you to like give some thought to like higher power, meaning of life. You know, maybe that's it means something different for you, and that's okay. But that does seem to make a difference, right? And that's not to say that people who don't have any spiritual beliefs can't heal. That's not true. I have seen, obviously, people can, but it is seem to be a factor in the speediness of with which many people heal. Okay, let me check your chat one more time, then we're gonna call it a night. How big is the show? So I heard there's 100,000 people there over the course of the weekend. I don't know for sure. I'll give you after I come back. I'll let you know what I think. That's the number I heard. I don't think this room can hold 100,000 people at a time. So maybe it's like 30,000 or so each day that are passing through, and not everybody's staying in there the whole day. Bagel theory. Oh, Vagal with a V. Polyvagal. V is in Victor. AGAL. And it has to do with your vagus nerves that run through your body. Bagel theory. Bagels are good though. I love bagels. Wow. STP, I love to hear that. That is wonderful news. That's what I'm talking about right there. Wow. Look at that. See, thank you guys for sharing that so much. I really that actually makes my night. Thank you. I love hearing that. Yeah, and that's probably a topic we could hit back on another day, and maybe you want to be part of that STP. Is that, and you don't have to, is that when we go through tragedy, it's hard to see it at that moment. It really is hard to see it, but I promise you that when bad things happen in your life, often something good comes of it down the road. You won't see it in the moment. It's almost impossible to see it in the moment. But down the road, you might say, because this XYZ horrible thing happened, these things happened afterwards. I met this person who changed my life. This job was offered to me. And you won't know it until it starts to happen. But I see that again and again and again, that sometimes a person goes through this horrible tragedy and they say, why me? Why me? Why me? It doesn't make sense sometimes till later on that like that happened, but it opened up a different door for you. Sing a lot. And okay, there you go. There you go. You know what? Mac, we all should sing more. You know, when we sing, we actually lift our mood. And yes, it's a different part of the brain that's involved with how you communicate is different for singing and speech. There you go, right there. Just believe in something. Oh, thanks, Lee. Yeah, please be careful. The storms this spring have been awful. Do I do an open panel? Do you mean like on the channel? I do. Yeah, I do panels. And thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to be doing some panels later this summer. I know several people have actually messaged me and said, "Hey, I'd like to be on a panel." We're going to do that. I just right now my 100% focus is on Blade Show. When I get back, we'll start thinking about setting some of that stuff up. So if that's what you mean, yes. Survivor syndrome. Yeah, that probably should be a topic for another day as well. And there's other things that can be brought up with that too, such as I'm gonna blank on it now. Speaking of speech, there's a syndrome where survivor syndrome is generally when people feel guilty if they survive when maybe a friend or peer didn't make it. And that's a real thing. It's a really hard thing to cope with. But we do that. We work with those kind of people in my work and help them and have had great results with that. Stockholm syndrome was the other one I was thinking, but that's when somebody can be like in captivity and start to sympathize with the people who kidnapped them. It's a very interesting thing. I actually have a better understanding of why that happens after today's training, but probably a different topic for a different day. All right, folks, let's go ahead and call it there. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much to Mod. You guys rock. Always appreciate you. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Do something fun. And remember Memorial Day. Let's think about those who gave their lives for our country. And just kind of, take a few minutes out of that. I'm not saying don't go to your barbecue or things like that. Do what you're going to do. But remember that Memorial Day was not really meant ever to be a celebration holiday. It was meant to be a solemn holiday. So let's try to keep a little bit of that spirit in there, okay? And other than that, have a wonderful weekend, folks. Keep planting your seeds. Yes, Patty Hurst was exactly who I was thinking about. Exactly. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.